and my partner in crime, Anna Tvarchenko. I believe that I can speak for all the team when I say that it is an honor to be chosen to screen the European premiere of George Michael, Freedom, the director's cut. And it all gets even more incredible when I can say that we have David Austin in the room. As you all know, because I know there are a lot of die-hard fans. Then David Austin and George Michael were friends from the childhood. They even had a band before George Michael created one. And they stayed collaborating for a long time, even co-writing songs for many albums. And we have the great pleasure and privilege to have him here. And I would like to please welcome on stage. The Q&A will be moderated by Alex Kijn. She is the representative of COC Amsterdam, which is the first association in the world for the LGBTQ rights. She is also a board member of the Transgender Network Nederland. And we're very happy to have her here. So please, Alex, so I just leave you in really good hands. Enjoy. Thank you very much for coming.
Great.
There you go.
Thank you very, very much on behalf of the whole audience and of the Michael Sky Club once again for showing the premiere. Last year's public is also broadcasted in the UK and also on Dutch television. And the European premiere of the director's cut has additional footage about 20 minutes. Can you tell about this extra footage?
Yeah, I thought it was a bit longer than 20 minutes, but firstly, thanks everybody for coming, and I hope you enjoyed it. Yes. And there were lots of extra little bits and pieces in there that weren't on the version that was on TV, and it was slightly mixed differently, and it was slightly graded. But what's different? That is the actual cut that George put together before that Christmas 2016. And for TV, we had to cut it down to an hour and 28 minutes. So it was incredibly painful, but both my George and myself, prior to that Christmas, we cut it down. And I think the running time for this now is about 1 hour 53 minutes, something like that. So it was actually his original cut. So you have all those private moments in there. You've got him talking about the studio, slightly more indulgent, but funny at the same time. We've got the stuff about the arrest. We've got that big joint in his hand in Rio, and just all that good stuff. So that's how that came about. And it's great that we've been able to put it together again. Not put it together. It's great that we've been able to put this into the full length, which hopefully will hit cinemas and do the rounds after festivals.
Is there a special reason you've chosen the Ed's Festival as premiere?
No money. I don't know really. I think we have a very. They're always the worst camera angles shooting up like that. Do you know what I mean? It's not like nothing joking. Yeah, exactly. That's where I learned it. If that was George, he'd be standing up there shooting from the top left. Do you know what I mean? Barbara Streisand was like that, by the way. Anything that she ever shot, anytime she was on TV, the camera was always up and left. And of course, as we all know, making selfies, the camera always looks a bit better up there. What was the question? Any reason why we chose in Edit? I think we put a strategy together for the festivals, and in Edit was really important, and Amsterdam was important. It's the first time it's here, so it's an important one and nice to support. And I think that was really why in Edit.
Well, one of course, the great songs and lyrics written by George is heritage. And two extras we have heard in the movie, which makes you want to download. It's Chris Martin and Adele. So tell me about Adele and Chris Martin.
That's right, that's right. Well, the Adele track, which is at the beginning of the film, I mean, we played about a minute and a half of it. That was something that I put together for the Grammys. And we had lots of, I think some of you might be familiar with that performance, yeah? But not that studio performance. Because she was really nervous on the night, actually. There was a lot of pressure, and we all know she stopped it. But that was a version that we, that was basically put together for the Grammys. It was just, and I'd heard a studio recording of it, and I called her up and spoke to Jonathan, her management, and we sorted out. It was very easy to sort out, actually, and fitting that she opened the front end of the film. And of course, she's famously endorsed George and said how much she respects him. And we've got a famous picture of her dressed up as George Michael, and and the Chris Martin thing was the same thing with the Brits. I just thought he was a great candidate to do it. I knew there was going to be a lot of pressure at the Brits to pull that performance off, and I knew that he was able to cope with those kind of crowds. And George really liked him. He was very nervous at the Brits as well, and he went in and re-recorded that for the film. And
it's really beautifully done.
Yeah. Well,
because for a moment, sorry to interrupt you, but for a moment I really thought when Chris Martin was singing the song A Different Corner, and suddenly you hear George Michael's voice smoothly go into it. For a moment I thought, my God, he's walking on stage. It was so brilliantly done that
Well, that was the idea. I mean, the idea was that I had so many different offers and people coming forward with ideas, and they were all crap. Really, they were just really rubbish. And I knew how I really wanted to do this as a duet, and so I got some of the film from Symphonica, and then Chris went and re-recorded it. So that's how that came around, and it worked beautifully. And then they went in and finished it off at the end of the film. So we've got great bookends, Adele and Chris.
We're going to start with questions from the George Michael fan club in a minute. But first, I have a personal question. George Michael is considered a lyrical master. What are your favorite 3 lines?
Oh.
You've known him since you've been children, so.
Obviously, some of mine. Favorite 3 lines.
Go on then. Go on then.
Well, I know favourite 3 songs. I know his favourite 2 songs, 3 songs. They're Praying for Time and You've Been Loved. I love that line in Praying for Time. And all God's children crept out the back door. I really love that whole sentiment around that.
More relevant as ever.
Huh?
More relevant as ever.
Yes, yeah. And what else? And I really love that low bit in You Have Been Loved in the 3rd section. And heaven help the ones who pray for you. Or is it wait for you? Can't remember. But I love those 2 moments. And of course, there are so many amazing lyric moments in George's music, because George had this amazing ability to communicate and touch people, whoever they were, and the songs were really relevant to so many people. And I often talked about this with George. He could have been an evangelist preacher up in a tower somewhere, and he would have been able to communicate with people. He just had that. He had that gift. That was his gift. His ability to communicate. On top of that, he had this amazing gift, which was to create these fantastic melodies and songs which resonated. But he had that gift. But I think there are two moments that I really love, those two moments.
But there's not really a third one. Is there any progress, as in, you know, Faith is one project, and after he was able to choose for himself, as in, you know, the lyrics being a part of his, you know, state of mind, which resulted in this without prejudice. So he has improved his lyrics.
Yeah, I think the earlier stuff, a lot of the earlier stuff would have been crafting his music. So from the Wham stuff, you can see the progression as it kind of moved on. I think by the time he got through, even though Faith is a good pop album, it wouldn't be probably his choice, and certainly not mine, to go to listen to. Listen Without Prejudice, you can see that it's a beautifully crafted album, and it's a lot more personal. By the time he got to Older, which I think is his favourite record, it's certainly my favourite record, there was a lot of amazing stuff going on. Patience wasn't my favourite record. I've forgotten the question.
I said he has improved his writing skills.
Yeah.
If you look at Faith, the album, and
Yeah.
then later on this Without Prejudice, which he was able to actually write really distinctly.
Yes.
And being able to actually be open about it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're talking about, yeah, I mean, yes, I mean, he progressed as a writer, he became more honest as a writer, and I think by the time we got to Listen Without Prejudice, I think a lot of people had worked out that he was gay, if you hadn't. But certainly by the time we got to Older, I think people worked it out. But yeah, he'd improved his writing skills, and obviously, as he got into the latter years, and his vocal skills as well. That section of Brother Can You Spare a Dime is quite extraordinary. That's one live take, that's one performance. And from Pavarotti in Modena, Pavarotti show, and also there's an incredible vocal moment in They Won't Go When I Go, the Stevie track.
Yeah.
You know that. So yeah.
Thank you. The George Michael fan club is like that, which is asking autographs. Is there some specific person who is willing to ask something to David? And first of all, I want to also notify that please do not ask personal things about David and George whatsoever. Please respect.
I do have one question.
Yeah.
Will there be a DVD coming out? Because I know a lot of lovelies would have appreciated if there's a physical one, because and then via georgemichael.com.
Of course, yeah.
I'd love to buy, and I bet a lot of lovelies will buy one.
Yeah, you know, not right now, but I promise you we're going to do something with this. I promise you there will be something.
Especially the charm. And
no, but I promise you with this, and you know, we've got Symphonica and so many other things.
Yes,
there will be something really special, and as time goes on, there are projects and things that we were working on that he had endorsed. You know what I mean? That he was a huge part of. So there are going to be things, but yeah, if you just give it a while, something really, really lovely will happen with this film. Really lovely.
Thank you.
He won't let you down.
Yes. Hello, David.
Hi there.
First, I want to thank you for being here, and
My pleasure, thank you.
and for being such a good friend for George, for the family, and for the communication the family gives us to us lovelies, because we always had to be very patient with as a fan for new music from George. I love the footage of George in the studio. It's very new to us,
Yeah.
and for many fans, that is footage that we really would like to see. So we hope there's more of that.
There is actually. There's loads and loads and loads of footage of that. But, you know.
Well, we know
One
you're
day.
good at making an extra DVD always with
yeah.
stuff. But I do have a question about George music. I remember he promised us during the concert that he had finished an album, and he called it Think Pink. He made
The dance record.
Yes. And I know a lot of people would like to know.
Well, there are dance tracks that he'd recorded. There are finished product. There is some finished product. but as and when it's got to be, you know, so careful. I mean, we're just off the back of a big project. Do you know what I mean? There are some beautiful finished masters that are there. You know, there are. Yeah. So well, I mean, you know, they'll definitely see the light of day. I mean, you know, they're not coming out tomorrow. But, you know.
Will it be released at georgemichael.com?
Huh?
Will it be released at georgemichael.com, please?
I think when that stuff, if anything else comes out, it will be released on a platform that is accessible to absolutely everybody. So it's you know, it's about sharing really at this stage and making sure that you know that all the really
Thank you very much.
Next question for the person in the white shirt.
Hi there.
Thank you for letting us ask questions. That's very nice. I've got a question about the live shows. Is that okay?
Of course it is.
Yeah. George was incredible live, and we feel so honored and so privileged to have heard him.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of the shows of 25 Live and Sinfonica through all the years. Would you say which year of the live shows he was the happiest to be on stage, and why?
I think when he came back after where did we play? I think he hadn't played for 17 years, right? And where did we play then? I think was it Madrid or Barcelona or somewhere? Where?
Barcelona.
Yeah, we played in Barcelona. I think once he kind of dipped his feet back into the water, he absolutely loved being back on stage and performing. I mean, in the earlier years, you know, there was some of the earlier Wham tours, and then we finished at Wembley, so we got that extra Wembley footage in there, and but it was all kind of like he hadn't kind of settled into the live stuff at that stage, and then the Faith tour, and it was all very overwhelming. I think when we came back with 25, the actual arena tour was fantastic, and then we took it into the stadiums after that, and so he absolutely loved all of that, and certainly when we got to a Sinfonica, I mean, he was firing on all 4 cylinders again, and we played some of those shows. You've seen the Palais Garnier show, obviously, but there were a couple of Royal Albert Hall shows that he played where he absolutely loved them. So I think in general he'd found his feet again, and he'd found his comfort zone on stage, you know. So it'd be hard to say which of the shows, but I know that he loved all of them. And of course, the one thing that you always got with the George Michael show that a lot of artists don't is you got this. You know, we put a lot of money into the productions. You know, millions. You know, some artists, I won't mention names, but you know, you might get 3 amps on a stage and they rinse you for the ticket price. With George, you always got 2 hours, 2.5 hours, a proper show, you know, bells and whistles, the whole 9 yards, as it were. So.
Last question to the lady.
Hi David, thank you for being here. I really enjoyed all the footage and thanks for sharing it.
My pleasure.
My name is Fedra Grant, and I'm a professional bass player and a singer, and a huge George Michael fan since I was 4 years old. And I'm the initiator of a theatre tour we're going to perform in the autumn with a group of really nice, great Dutch session musicians and a well-known singer called Charlie Luske.
Yes.
And I'm actually busy writing the script at the moment, and we're going to celebrate George's music and life. And obviously, audience in this hall is very much aware of what's been going on in George's life, but the audience that we are going to get doesn't know as much as the people here, I think. So what would be, in your opinion, apart from what George already said in the film, the most important message that we should get across to the audience. What?
I see. So it's a sort of retrospective of his life, is it?
Well, yeah, we're gonna, of course, just.
And you're writing it, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, maybe that, of course, what he says himself.
I think George's integrity, you know what I mean? And there was something that I was saying to Alex earlier on when we were talking. One thing that he had was he wasn't frightened to laugh at himself. And George had this amazing ability to disarm his critics by self-mocking. You know, the Hampstead Heath thing with Ricky, the James Corden thing, the Parky thing, you know, after the arrest. So I think if you get, humour, integrity, and I think if you, human integrity, and if you, and honesty, you know, integrity and honesty, but humour and integrity really, and just, you know, take people on that roller coaster, the highs and the lows, make them sing, make them dance, make them cry, make them happy and make them laugh. Any good?
Yes. Thank you all very much. A warm applause, please.
And thank you. Oh, that's very sweet.
And then maybe you won't fit, or maybe girls can have
Sure. That's really sweet.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You can give on de foto voor jou. Ja? Goed zo.
Thank you.
Komen we weer terug.
Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you.
Thanks
Thanks, everybody. Don't be putting those bootlegs up. Come on. Keep it to yourself.
Telefoon valt ook uit.